Alright guys, so here in this box is a refurbished Xbox Series S that I bought from GameStop. So I'm pretty excited for this video. You know, I've been waiting for the next generation of consoles to be used or refurbished from GameStop for a while now. I finally found this one a few weeks ago, decided to buy it, and it's still not cheap. I mean, it's $280 refurbished, so it's only $20 cheaper than a brand new one. So honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't just spring for the brand new one unless you just really need to save that 20 bucks. But let's go ahead and open this thing up. Well, we got the box open now, so let's go ahead and see what's in here. I already see a packing slip, so let me take that out and show it to you guys. So I actually got it a little bit cheaper than 280 bucks because I had some gift cards. Probably can't see that. I'll just show it on the screen. But they do actually have some bubble wrap on top, which is cool. And then they got some of these sealed air bubbles, whatever you want to call them. Welcome to Tech Heaven. If you're in need of any piece of tech, whether it's a PC, a monitor, a keyboard, or even something extremely specific like the Thrustmaster TLCM pedals, Micro Center is there for you. You name it, they've got it. I'm a huge fan of the online tools that Micro Center provides to help you build custom setups. They have a custom PC builder that takes you component by component, which makes it super easy to find the parts you need for your custom PC. My personal favorite is the Racing Sim builder. If you're a Racing Sim fan like me, you've probably thought about building your own racing cockpit. I know I have, but I've never really known where to start. With Micro Center's Racing Sim Builder, there's no more guessing. And if you really want the full Micro Center experience, you've got to stop by one of their stores and just browse. With over 30,000 items in stock, there's a pretty good chance you'll find what you're looking for. And to top it off, you'll get a free 240GB SSD. There is absolutely no catch here. Just show up at your local Micro Center using the coupon you got in the link down below, and you'll get a free SSD with no purchase necessary. So thanks to Micro Center for sponsoring this video, and make sure to let me know down below if you've purchased any cool tech from Micro Center. And now here's the actual box that the Series S comes in, and if you've seen my videos before, you'll know I've purchased a lot of consoles from GameStop in the past, used and refurbished, and it's a pretty mixed bag. Most of them have some sort of issue with them. I'm not sure what they're going to mess up here because it's not a glossy console, which if you have glossy console, they like to scratch them up. I can't even open this thing up. But yeah, like I said, if you have a glossy console, they like to scratch it up with with a magic eraser. It's going to be hard to do this because this is a completely matte console. So here on the top, how do I get this out? I think it might slide out, or maybe what is going on here? Alright, so they have some little box on top which I think has the accessories in it, and oh, here's the console down here. And then, oh, it's actually in a nice little packaging. They actually figured out their packaging instead of just letting the console bounce around in there, which is definitely an improvement. So I put the console to the side for a second so we can take a look at what's in this box right here. And we have, let's see, we have a controller, which is a random black controller. We have our power cord, our HDMI cable. Those do look like OEM power cords and HDMI cables. And then you have here what I think are GameStop branded batteries. They say Game On, which I think is a motto of GameStop. Not sure, but it would make sense for GameStop to get their own branded batteries since they use so many of them on consoles like this. But yeah. And so it also came with this piece of paper that says Xbox Series X and Series S system startup. So it gives you some details. And so I guess they're using this for both the Series X and Series S, obviously. And then it tells you what's in the box. It actually gives you a little diagram about preparing your space for the console. So basically saying not to shove it in your entertainment cabinet so it doesn't overheat. And yeah, pretty standard stuff. And then of course we have the controller here, which seems to be in pretty good condition. All the buttons are clicky. I was actually worried for a second they were going to send me a controller that was not a Series X or Series S controller, the one that doesn't have this button right here. And I thought it was going to be like an Xbox One controller, but it seems to be authentic. Oh. And so you can actually see this controller has been opened up and something's been done to it, because if you look in the middle there's a little indentation where somebody poked a screwdriver through and opened up the controller. So I guess that makes sense because it is considered a refurbished console, so I guess they refurbished the controllers as well. And I'm curious actually what they refurbished with the console, because I can't imagine they're getting a whole lot of these things that are broken right now. But here's the console, and like I said, I'm excited to see that they're actually using some like foam inserts that are actually made for the Series S. So it fits them really well. And here's the console. It actually, at first glance, doesn't look too bad. I do see a fair number of scratches on top. Not sure if that's from them scratching it up themselves or just from the person that traded it in, not sure. And then here on top of the fan vent, whatever you want to call it, there was a little white mark, which actually I just wiped off with my finger. And here on the front, looks pretty standard. 2 buttons, I don't see any scratches at all. Here on the bottom, you got all 4 rubber feet, which is good to see. On the back, we got a green sticker there. I guess that means the GameStop has opened it up and then refurbished it. And it says the manufacture date is May 12th, 2021, so it's about 8 months old. All the ports look good as well, which is good to see. Then you got all 4 rubber feet on this side, and this side looks good as well. There's a couple things to note. So I see one little tiny dent down here, but it's tiny. You can probably not even see it. And then over here, there's another little dent. Again, I don't know if you can see that one either. And then it also looks like it's been scraped on the side right here. Hopefully it has not been dropped. But yeah, so far so good. So let's go ahead and plug this thing in, test it out, and make sure it works. All right, guys, so we're all plugged in now. Let's go ahead and see if this Xbox Series S works. Cool, we got life there. We got power on our controller. Let's try to pair it to the Xbox. See if it pairs up. Oh, we got life on the Xbox, finally. Alright, cool. So the Xbox loaded up. Haven't finished pairing yet to my controller. There it goes. Alright, cool. So the controller's connected up. We're on the main startup screen. I'll go ahead and set up the Xbox, and I'll come back when I'm done. So I finished the setup, but of course it needs an update. So we'll finish the update, then we'll come back and make sure it works. Alright, so we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and boot up this console and make sure it looks good. Alright, so here we are. The Series S is booted up, and as you probably know, it's an all-digital console, so there's no disk drive here, so we need to download a game to be able to try out a game. So let's go ahead and see what I have. Got some random games that are showing up in my groups. Oh, we already got a queue for a bunch of apps to be updated. Let's find a game that I own, and we'll go ahead and just download it. So I'm going to download Super Hot Mind Control Delete. I've played Super Hot on the PlayStation VR before, and it looks like this is optimized for Series S and Series X, and it's a pretty small game, so we'll go ahead and download this, and we'll make sure it works. So after about 5 minutes, we're finished installing. Let's go ahead and boot it up and see if it works. Now, I played Super Hot, like I said earlier, on the PlayStation VR, the original one, and that game was pretty fun. I guess this is the succession in the games, not sure, but we're about to find out. So this game is definitely very similar to the other Super Hot game I played. Basically, whenever you move your controller or move your player, the world moves as well. Now, this game was like really trippy in VR. I mean, like most games of VR are pretty trippy. Man, apparently I'm not very good at this game. But this is a pretty cool concept. I think it's definitely worth a try if you have Game Pass. I mean, it's pretty, 2 gigabytes. If you have Game Pass, might as well give it a go. Pretty fun game, though. So let's go back to the home menu real quick. And the last thing I want to do is try out my controller, just to make sure all the buttons work properly. So if you go to accessories, you can actually test out your controller. So we're updated, test out the vibration. That seems to work. We'll go down. I think it's over here, actually. And we can press all our buttons and make sure they're actually working as they should. Yeah, all seems to be good. So that's good to see. Cool, so the game works, controller works. Console looks pretty good. I mean, it's got a few dents and scratches on it, but nothing too bad. And I actually want to tear it down and take a look at the insides and see if they actually did anything, because they say refurbished. I don't know if they fixed something or if they just cleaned it out, but let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what's going on inside. So I've never done a teardown of a Series S, but watched a couple videos. Looks pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and do this. Got to start with taking off a couple screws off the back. And I've got my iFixit toolkit to do this. Pretty nice kit. And I'm going to throw a link down in the description if you want to check it out. But let's go ahead and get these screws out. Alright, so we got the first little cover off. And I'm almost wondering, I wonder if GameStop has a way to replace these easily and has the materials to replace these little covers right here, because that came off like it had never been removed before. Either that or they didn't actually open it up, which would completely defeat the purpose of refurbishing. But yeah, so that one came off a little bit easier. Still kind of skeptical if GameStop actually opened this up, but we're about to find out. So I'm zoomed in all the way here on the screw, and I was trying to figure out if it's actually been removed before, and I looked really closely and I can kind of see the wear and tear on the screw. So I do think it's been opened before. But I was kind of skeptical for a second. So we got the first 2 screws off. I think the bottom just kind of falls off or slides off, if I remember from the videos correctly. Yep, so it just falls off like so. And let's go ahead and take some additional screws out. This thing is still kind of hot from playing it, but I think we start with the green screws. And so yeah, so I have the green screws out. I think this top piece comes off now somehow. So I just had to pry it apart a little bit, and now it's coming off. So taking a look at the top cover, it looks pretty clean, but I do see some residue that I think it's hard to see, but basically this case is supposed to be white, and there's a little bit of like black shading that I think comes from the heat, and so it doesn't look like they wiped this part out if they did clean it, because if they'd wiped it out, that black stuff would be gone. Let's go to this console, this part of the console now. Looks pretty good. I mean, the fan looks pretty clean. I think we can take this apart some more and get all the way inside and see if the fan is clean and see if they actually did something. So we're going to take off these 2 boards. I think the sync button is over here. You got your power button over here as well. Let's go ahead and take these off. So we got those 2 boards off. Now I need to take off the rest of the screws. I also just noticed there's a board on the other side that I need to take off as well. So I've got all the screws out. We should be able to take this thing apart now and take a little bit closer look at the internals. So here's the top plate, it looks fine. And then here is the fan, and that's the part I really want to check, because if this thing has been cleaned, then the fan should be pretty clean and dust free for the most part. And it actually does look pretty good. There's a little bit of dust on it, but nothing crazy. And honestly, I took off the I took off the X-clamp screws here, but I don't think I need to do that because I'm not actually going to take everything apart. But we can go ahead and lift the fan off here and take a look at the heat sink. And it's still a little bit hot from when I was playing it. But I mean, I don't really see much dust at all, so I guess they came in here, cleaned it out, dusted it out, and all that good stuff. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this console and how GameStop treated it. It seems that they did open it up, clean it out, and I actually just noticed this Master Chief Easter egg right there. That's cool. And yeah, it seems like they cleaned it out, dusted it out, and you know, the console works fine. Controller works fine. They all look good. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised with how GameStop treated this console. Hopefully it doesn't have any issues in the future, but it looks good so far. And I'll probably sell it on my website. I mean, I already have a Series S, so I'll sell it on my website for cheaper than $280. So check out my website down below, JoesWakeyGamesAndReactions. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.